Ancient Mahara here. Are you somebody who's been with a BPD or somebody with NPD, or you're the adult child of somebody with BPD, NPD, or BPD comorbid NPD, or you've been a favorite person, whatever the case, and you're now learning, or you're just beginning, or you're new to all this, but you're learning about all of that, or whatever applies to you, whatever relationship type, BPD with a person BPD or NPD, or maybe other things going on too, or you don't know. But are you just discovering what codependency, or just hearing a lot about codependency and you haven't heard a lot about codependency before? Because do you really understand what it means that you have codependency? Because that's something that would also help you to turn your focus toward, and to turn, as opposed to the focus on the cluster Bs, as I'm always saying, that's not going to be the helpful thing for you in terms of how you're going to get out of the pain that you're in, how you're going to find your own healing and recovery. But even before you not get into a process, because I have lots of clients who come to work with me that are still all confused, don't know if the relationship is on or off, still feeling a lot of love for the borderline ex or the person you're with, maybe still, who's either BPD or NPD, or you're not sure, or you think that you got BPD, NPD, and they're like psychopathic and all of that. Whatever you think, whatever's going on, I understand that. And people have to do some of that processing as well in therapy, as they do by watching videos and looking all over the internet. But a key thing is, while you're doing all of that and you're focusing on all of that, you're not only still letting yourself down and not focusing on yourself and not taking care of yourself, but you're not learning what you need to learn more about what codependency is, what codependency means, and how formidable that is. Because really, codependency could easily be, and maybe it's even might be a little helpful in a way to say that codependent personality disorder, that it is a personality disorder, so to speak. Like, I'm not into pathologizing things or people, but it operates in a very similar way when people have codependency, and how painful that is and what that's all about, what you need to learn more about that in general, but specific to the actual, what does codependency really mean? And I have a podcast episode up here on the YouTube channel that really answers that question, and I'm going to have much more coming, like in a course I'm still working to get done. But so it's really about finding out more about what does codependency mean. And I think in that regard, I don't know, on this channel I'll probably keep talking about things in general, but I want to focus much more on codependency. And I have seen it referred to out there on some websites, maybe various different types, but also, websites of people that are mental health professionals that basically are referring to codependency as codependent personality disorder. And I'm not here to pathologize that. I'm just here to say, what do you know about codependency? And that you need to know so much more. Because your focus elsewhere and everything, as I've spoken about in many videos, a lot about that. But I don't think I've ever just put it out this way to say, you need to focus on not only yourself, of course, and not to cluster Bs, get into therapy. And I'm out here to work with you if I resonate with you. You can go to ajmahara.ca to purchase a book sessions with me. But it's like you need to focus more on what is codependency and understanding that. And not only in the broadest terms, or in a way, and I'm going to be doing some more blogging, so you might want to check my blog at bpdbreakups.com or ajmahara.ca. And if I'm blogging anywhere else, I'll either link it in the video when I know, or I will, if I blog elsewhere, I usually put them on those blogs too. It's going to be doing some different things, as well as my podcast, if you haven't checked into that yet. And there might be another one coming. So the key thing is, well, I've said it in many different ways before. You need to stop focusing on the cluster B, that other person, or the family of origin, whatever it is. You need to turn focus to yourself, okay? But now I'm thinking more specifically that you need to turn the focus not only on yourself. Be great if you got into therapy right now, if you're not already, but on what is codependency and why are you in the position and the pain you're in your life right now, and what does that really mean for you? Because codependency is no longer what it used to be defined as. And so therapy is the answer, not 12-step groups, because what codependency is all about has nothing to do with addiction, or very little, but not in the sense of other addictions. And so people need to know that, and you know, stay tuned to my podcast, the channel here. I will stop talking about the course that's coming until I get some of that up. But I think I'm going to try doing a few different kinds of videos on the channel, more to help people understand just how many moving parts there are to this. You know, there's so many tools, emotional tools and skills that people need to learn who have codependency in a healing and recovery journey. And one of them starts off with, you know, starting therapy, but it starts one of the coping tools and skills to build not only radical acceptance, but learning how to cope with pain. And many, many people aren't equipped to do that right now. So I just wanted to put that out there and to say that you really need to not only focus on yourself, but maybe start focusing more on codependency. And I have a lot more videos on that on this channel. I have some that are, you know, maybe people haven't really given a chance because they go really in depth to a lot of things and aspects of codependency from various different perspectives. And so if it's been difficult, or you haven't wanted to hear, or you're new to this, or you're not new to it, what is codependency and what does that mean for you, but you're still just not giving yourself that chance, that break, to step out of a pattern that will start to decrease your pain. You know, instead of the focus, externalizing out repetition, compulsion cycles, and codependency that I mentioned in many videos. So what is codependency? What does it mean to you? Share in the comments below. What does it mean to you? What do you know about it so far? How much do you know? How long have you been working at this? Are you in therapy? Are you afraid to go to therapy? Are you afraid to know more about codependency? What do you really think about that? Because maybe if we could have a few people commenting here and maybe supporting each other as well, then maybe we can expand out a little bit more the focus on codependency, which is you starting to take a step in the right direction to focus more on yourself because you have codependency. If you've been with somebody with cluster B, or, you know, it starts in your childhood, but it leads to people getting into these relationships with emotionally unavailable people, to say the very least. So I hope that's somewhat helpful, because codependency is formidable. Codependency is a deep subject, and the healing from codependency involves all kinds of multi-layered processes to build skills and to learn new tools to cope and to find yourself in the emotional landscape versus how you're living in your head. And it is about, like I've said before, developing a healthy and functional relationship to and with yourself before you try to have another relationship with anyone else. And you deserve that.